morning, you fabulous lot of people. Christ, it's echoing here. Hope you are all well. It's me, Katherine from Crack Talks. You are watching The Business Show. And yes, today we are on at 10:30 because I really wanted this guest on and I know they are super busy with their business. So I made sure I changed the time for them so I could get them on the show. But before I bring today's guest on, we are going to be talking about low-calorie Prosecco and everything alcohol. And I cannot wait. But until that point, make sure you drop in the comments and say good morning to me. Make sure you put replay if you're watching replay. Honestly, I like to know who stalks me, but if you are watching live, please jump in the comments and say hello. But other than that, I'm really glad today's guest coming on because of the fabulous news that we had, obviously, beginning of this week, back end of last week. And it looks like there's a light at the end of the tunnel for going out and socialising. As we know, on the show, I don't really talk about COVID in massive details or anything like that. But there's one thing, especially my background being hospitality and catering, not a lot of people know that about me. I'm actually a maitre d', a level 1 trained sommelier, also a trained head chef. Not experienced, but trained. I prefer front of house. So I live and breathe hospitality and catering, and I cannot wait for the world to reopen so I can go out, have a lovely meal, have a lovely bottle of wine, have a few drinks, and have a good old boogie. I know we can't have a boogie yet, but we're getting there. We are getting towards that. But yeah, no, so I really can't wait for it. And I know that it's going to be absolutely amazing. And the fact that I'm trying to book in places already, you know, when you're trying to book in somewhere, you probably do this when you're drunk. You know, you go to like your regular club and there's a massive queue and you try flirting with a bouncer to get in without queuing. Well, I'm kind of doing that with hopefully getting a meal in a restaurant, kind of flirting with the managers that know. I'm like, hi, I know you're fully booked, but you know you can fit 6 of us in, right? And they're a bit like, no. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean that you can't fit me in? I want to sit down and have a meal for 6 by myself. I'm just eating for 6 people. There ain't 6 of us there. It's, you know, I've been craving a good old burger when I go out. But yes, so like I said, today's guest who I'll be bringing on very, very shortly, we are going to be talking about all things alcohol and low-calorie Prosecco. And I've just been talking to them backstage and they've been telling me how their business is going stronger and stronger and stronger. And now they feel like the recruiter as well as the owner because they're having to bring that many people on board and it's going to be great. So I'm about to bring on the one and only Katherine Jones, who is the founder and, I'm going to say founder, and creative mind over at Think Wine Group. And we are going to be talking all things low-calorie Prosecco and everything else in between. And I really, really can't wait because it's going to be a barrel of laughs. Plus, she's from Liverpool, so you know she's a good crack. So with no further ado, I'm going to bring on Katherine. Good morning.
Morning. Hi.
How are you?
Yes, I'm really good. Thanks. Thank you for having me.
It's okay. Thanks for coming on the show. Oh, I love that neon light behind you. I really, really like the neon light.
Can I move? I keep moving in the way. Yeah. I think you'll love this as well. Look at this. What I just got sent. It's a candle that says "Hun."
Oh. I need one that says treacle because I call everyone treacle. So, oh my God. Obviously, you didn't know what you was in for today because obviously we've never met. So this is going to be a barrel of fun. But Katherine, just in case people don't know who you are and what you do, can you just tell us a bit about who you are and what is it that you do?
Yeah. So my name's Katherine Jones and I've actually got 2 businesses. I've got one which is Think Wine. Think Wine is reduced calorie, reduced sugar, vegan and organic wines, predominantly sparkling. So we've got a Prosecco and we've got a Pinot Grigio sparkling rosé, both very high-end luxury. And then we were actually about to release a still rosé. So that's going to be coming over the next kind of couple of months. But my other business and the whole reason I ever kind of got into Think is an influencer marketing agency. So we manage people with large social media followings, predominantly reality TV, to be honest. So the likes of, I guess, Made in Chelsea, The Only Way is Essex, those type of people, we manage their social media platforms. So that's my other side of the business that you might not know about because I actually don't really talk about it that much on LinkedIn.
How did I get you on the show? This is like magical. So, well, we'll talk about Think Wine Group today, and then I'm going to get you on in future to talk about that because that's going to be frigging amazing. Like,
great.
We'll talk about that as well today. Like, don't get me wrong, because I didn't know that. I've been stalking you for like months.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, yeah, I do speak about it, but it's not anywhere near as like often as Think because Think is, you know, it's new, it's my baby, it's a product, and it needs all the help in the world. While a Social Nation is established and it does really well on its own, it doesn't need help. This is Think, yeah.
Yeah. Woo, look at me sharing screen and being all technical. yeah, here we go, people. You've got your vegan and organic, low calorie, Prosecco, etc., all on here for you. Can I just say, I absolutely love the website. Like, I absolutely love it. But yes, so I know exactly what you mean. Like, it looks amazing and it looks good. So why did you get into that? Like, how did you actually fall into doing like low calorie Prosecco and things like that? What made you actually do it?
It was basically, I created it for myself. Like, I've always been kind of up and down in regards to my weight. And because I was working in the influencer marketing agent, like world realm, I was going to a lot of events, and some of them were just literally the opening of an envelope. I would go, and I was getting champagne on arrival, Prosecco on arrival, and it was always, I would find myself gaining weight, but I was thinking, I'm barely eating anything, I'm that busy. And then I realized it's alcohol calories and they're just as bad. So it was just simply the most minor thought, which was, what if I could create a wine that was better for you? It was more health conscious, more sustainable. What if I could do that? And it was just a fleeting thought. And then it ends up running away with me. I started sharing it with others. What do you think of this? And everyone was like, oh my God, I'd love that. I'd drink it by the bucket load. Then I would share it with the influencers. And a lot of my influencers were becoming vegan at the time. So I could see that it was going to be very prevalent over coming years. So I was like, you know what? There's not that many vegan wines. I mean, there's a lot more now. But back when I first started this, there wasn't that many. And people were like, what do you mean vegan wine? It's grapes, aren't they all vegan? And it's
Is
like,
that where you remove the fish bladder part of the process?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So instead of that, we use like a pea protein to clarify it rather than the fish bladder. But a lot of people don't realize that it's clarified through like the likes of fish guts, as I like to call it. So anyway, we were thinking about, doing an organic wine, and what I really wanted, because I was doing keto at the time, was to just reduce the sugar and the carbs. And so that it was literally a fleeting thought that I couldn't sleep again until I'd actually done it.
So do you think you ended up doing Prosecco because, like you said, you kind of got a bit of a taste for it going to like these events and things like that? And obviously Prosecco at one point had a massive boom like gin has had, hasn't it? At one point, Prosecco was a massive thing. Then it became gin. So is that why you went into the Prosecco side of it?
Yeah, it was. It was definitely, I just really loved Prosecco because I'd never really liked champagne. The way
You're from Liverpool, you like alcohol.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. That's true. I also like gin. I also like rum. But I'd never really been a fan of champagne. So when I got champagne on arrival, I wasn't as happy with that as I was with Prosecco on arrival. So that's why I thought, it needs to be a Prosecco. Plus, as soon as I started doing a bit of market research, exactly that, during that time, it was Prosecco that was on the up further than any other drink. And I'm actually still really glad I did a Prosecco rather than a gin, because, everyone is doing
Everyone did it, didn't they? And I think it would have completely have been kind of saturated amongst all the big noise of the gins and everything like that. Like, I've got a couple of friends who have gin distilleries, and like they've been very lucky with the local communities where they are, is what's made them busy compared to your big consumer like global brands. So I completely get why you think that.
Yeah. And Liverpool gin as well. I don't know if you've had that, but it's a thing. Like, even in London, it's in most places that are high end. And I thought, in a million years, I could never compete with a gin. But I always knew I wanted to create a product, but I didn't know what that product was. I never always thought I wanted to get into alcohol. It was purely based on the fact that I loved alcohol, and I wanted to lose weight whilst drinking it.
See, I absolutely love that. So obviously your business model, as I saw, I had a bit of a nosy on your website and things like that. You have an affiliate program as well, don't you? So I actually have had a couple of guests on the show, and I work with a couple of my clients. And we actually, Chelsea, who's in the comments, she's like, booze. She's a big big believer in affiliate marketing and things like that, and having affiliates for her business. Why did you go down that route? Is it because you already knew how impactful it can be from working with influencers and things like that? Is that why you went down that route?
Exactly that, yeah. Without my background in influencer marketing, I would never have started Think. I knew from how much I'd grown other people's businesses for them through influencer marketing, I knew that I could use the exact same model to grow my own. So I did that initially when I was first starting through just influencers. And then I was like, I want affiliates on board, because there's nothing better than, you know, just your standard girl who just loves it and shouts about it from the rooftop. And they don't necessarily have hundreds of followers or whatever, but they've got, you know, this small little group of people that trust what they say. And sometimes they can be even more beneficial to your business than an influencer. So that, it's my background in influencer marketing that led me to affiliate marketing.
Do you know what? You are so right there. So one of the things I say, you know, with like followers and things like that, but in particular in business, I say to everyone, and I do use this word, which does have a bit of it, but I say everyone should have their mini form of like cult, like their mini tribe kind of thing that lives and breathes and screams about what they do. And if you have that, you will never struggle, because you've got them people around you. And like you're saying, people that have small, that doesn't work in it, but people having smaller amounts probably can be a bit more impactful because of the smaller, condensed amount of following and belief they've got in them.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it can go either way, because I've used every form of influencer. I've used your micro, I've used your affiliates, I've used your massive influencers, and there's not really, you wouldn't just use one and not the other. You need to be combining all three if you want to really make it a success. But for me, it's not like, oh yeah, you know, micro influencers are way better than the big influencers, because that's not always the case. But then in the same breath, you know, it's not always the case that the bigger influencers will work better. So it's hit and miss with everyone. You've got to use them all.
No, you're completely right. So what we're going to look at, let's look at your website. Let's talk about a couple of the products. So you've obviously got these big cases, the 6 bottles kind of thing. So what am I looking at here? What products am I looking at here?
So you've got the mixed case at the top, which is a case of 6, which is 3 Prosecco and 3 Pinot Grigio Rosé. That's on the left. And then the others are obviously the 6 of just the Prosecco or 6 of the Rosé. Then below that is, you can just buy a pack of 2. So 1 of each, or 2 of one, or 2 of the other. And then, or you could buy a single bottle, you know, if you're not, if you haven't kind of got a feel for it.
See, that's really, really cool. So then I take it that with the wine, so what, obviously I know what traditional Prosecco is. You can get quite a dry, most Proseccos are quite dry, you know, they're quite dry. So is it still like a typical Prosecco? Have you kept the elements of a typical Prosecco in that?
Yeah. It's exactly a typical Prosecco, but the sugar is reduced, and that's why it's so important. Finding the winery is the most important part of the process, because if you're going to remove sugar, most wineries that make Prosecco just lash in a load of sugar to disguise the taste, because, you know, their grapes might not be the best grapes, or the way they make the wine might not be the best way. And so it's like, you can actually make it half decent by lashing in a load of sugar. So if you're going to remove sugar from it, you better know that your grapes are like on point, and the way it's made is going to be on point as well, because that's the only way it's still going to taste good. So that's kind of our slogan. There's no compromise on the taste, even though there's these health benefits. It's better for you. It's better, you know, it's vegan, organic, it's sustainable. There's no compromise on the taste. So you would not taste that and go, oh my God, this is reduced in sugar. There's no way. You wouldn't even notice. And some places that we are don't even mention the fact it's vegan and organic, because that's just not who their clientele are. You know, to them, all they are on the menu is the high-end Prosecco. We don't want to be anyone's house Prosecco. We are the high-end version. So there's usually on the menus that we're on, there's us as the high-end, and then there's the standard house Prosecco. But some places scream and shout about the fact it's vegan and reduced sugar. Others don't mention it. It all depends on the venue itself.
See, I know this from working in hospitality and catering, is the kind of thing that comes, if you put the label on something low calorie or something like that, straight away a lot of people go, oh,
it tastes poo. Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't matter that it's low calorie. That's not the point. It tastes good. That's what matters. So it's the good that they're not doing that, because it's the similar, you know, with Coke and Diet Coke.
Yeah.
You can just get rid of Coke, take the lid off Diet Coke, and you've got Coke. Like, people wouldn't doubt it. It's that complete concept behind it. So I think it's really, really cool for that. So what else now with Think Wine Group are you looking at branching into? Are you doing more wines? Are you going into spirits? What else are you looking at?
Yeah, it's definitely more wines. We want to kind of stick to the wine side, but we're launching in the USA in the next couple of months, so that's going to be huge for us. Initially we're only going into 4 states because the US is very, very hard with alcohol because some states are like completely controlled states, so the only way to get alcohol in is to sell it in through the government, which is really weird. And other states are like open states and you can just kind of sell it in through an importer. So we're starting with 4 states. That's going to be huge for us, I think. We're also creating a still rosé, and we're going to be going into collaboration with an influencer, which I can't say just yet, but it's a really well-known influencer, and we're going to be creating a rosé alongside her. And then we're releasing our small bottles. So obviously on the website you've seen we've only got the large bottles, but the small 200ml bottles are coming. And then by the end of this year, I would like to look into doing a red and a white as well. We've got to see how we go because we're so busy. And as I said earlier, like, you know, I'm continuously hiring staff. I can't keep up with it. I don't know if I probably wouldn't be able to launch both. I would like to, but I would maybe just do the reds in time for Christmas. And then, you know, next year at some point do a white.
But then once again, you know, it's a really clever way of doing it. And you'll know this with working with influencers once again, and now running Think Wine Group. Launching them both at the same time probably won't have as big as an impact as what you want.
Yeah.
Because people use Prosecco, now you want to get people onto the rosé, then they can try the white, and it's like, oh, we need to get the red. I've loved it. You know, it's a really clever way of doing it. And I do say this to people. When bringing out new ranges of products, you don't have to launch them all in one go.
No, you're right.
You have a season of launching products.
Yeah.
You'll constantly have that repeat customer.
It keeps the hype up, doesn't it?
Exactly. That's completely it. But no, so look, I know you're a busy lady, so I'm not going to keep you much longer. So, Katherine, is there anything else you'd like to say regarding your business, where it's going, the importance of using influencers or influencer marketing, anything like that?
I mean, I would say if you have a product, it's very important to use influencer marketing because it works for a service as well, but you have to be more clever and you have to invest more and you need to look at different platforms. So like if you're a service base, you should be using probably LinkedIn influencers rather than, you know, Instagram influencers. But if you're a product, you should be using influencers if you want to, you know, grow at a decent pace. Because all I've done, you know, throughout our journey is use Facebook ads and influencers, and we've grown phenomenally and we've surpassed like all the expectations of a year 1 brand. So I would recommend that anyone uses influencers for sure.
You're like, just use them. Just send them free shit.
Just do it,
Love it. Katherine, don't rush off straight away. I'm going to kick you backstage. I'll have a quick old natter with you, and then I'll let you bugger off and carry on running your global empire. So I'll speak to you in a minute.
Thank you.
Bye. Oh, honestly, power of influencer marketing. A lot of people do talk about influencer marketing. You might follow influencers yourself, but I really don't think a lot of business owners, in my personal opinion, really get it because they think they're going to have to pay them tens or, you know, hundreds of thousands of pounds to promote a product. You know, like Katherine said, connect with her on LinkedIn, etc. You might be able to actually find out something, buy a bottle of a Prosecco, obviously. But I don't think people understand, like she was saying, with the smaller groups of influencers, how beneficial it can be. Seriously think about it. It's really important. Make sure you tune in tomorrow at 9:30 in the morning. I've got the one and only Lauren Epithite on the show. I always say her name correctly, which makes me very happy. And she doesn't normally speak publicly, so I know it's going to be a very, very big thing, and I cannot wait. We're going to be talking about mental health awareness on Mental Health Awareness Week. It's going to be a good show. So make sure you tune in tomorrow at 9:30 in the morning. And remember, in the words of Banana, if you can't be good, be careful. Can't be careful, don't get caught.